Hello, welcome to today's family. I'm Dick Forbes.
And I'm Dr. Will Carroll.
And welcome to another episode of talking about some things that I think will be prevalent in your life and helpful in your life as they are in our lives as we talk about these things. We're kind of doing a mini-series on narcissism. If you'd missed the first one, it was just really what kind of narcissists are out there. And we talked about the overt, the covert, the malignant, the cerebral, the spiritual, and the, what was the other one missed in there? The somatic.
Communal.
The communal narcissist, too, yeah. So there's a whole list. There's probably more out there that we don't even know about.
I'm sure there's more.
But today we want to kind of touch on, what if I'm in a relationship with this person?
Right.
You know, what does that look like? And then we want to do a third part is, okay, I am in a relationship, now what? How do I handle it? What do I do? How do I respond to that? And we'll give you some techniques on that third episode of doing this. But let's go ahead and jump in on this, Will.
Right.
Let's just take our first one, our overt narcissist. What is that like for somebody to be married? And we may have to describe each one of these a little bit. The overt narcissist is the big ego, self-seeking, affirmation, all that kind of stuff.
Right.
What's a marriage look like with them?
So any relationship that is romantic for the narcissist is always going to start off very open, warm, charming. The young lady or young man who is dating the narcissist is always going to see them in their best light. Mm-hmm. Like the eyes are twinkling and it's all there. And of course that moves forward pretty quickly to the self-aggrandizement that we see in all forms of narcissism, that view of I am the best, I am the greatest. Mm-hmm. But initially, the charm is going to be turned up to 11. It's just going to be welcoming and warm. And especially for somebody who may not have the same level of ego strength as what we would say, they are going to be attracted to the narcissist because that narcissist provides that for them. It gives them he or she gives them a feeling of, I'm important.
Right.
I'm valuable. Look how important he is. That makes me important, and I want to be around him. Now, the narcissist is going to draw them in, kind of like a fisherman reeling in a hook, and it's just going to be, you're going to need me more, and I'm really special, and you are not. You should attach yourself to me. And when we talk about attachment, think about attachment theory. We talk about attachment like finding value in another person. Obviously, that's not really a great thing. We should find our value in Christ. But for the narcissist, he's going to find someone who will find value in him, so much so that they give up themselves.
Right. And so the narcissist is always seeking that fresh meat,
in
so to
some
speak,
ways, yes.
You know, to praise me and think well of me and everything.
Right.
And would you say that... This might be a guess more than anything, but would you say there's a higher divorce rate among narcissists than is the general population?
Yes. Not only is it higher, it's going to be a quicker. Like we think about that first year of a person's marriage being very vulnerable. Like they're new together, all these new things they're learning about the other person. They're very vulnerable in those first 12 months. But for the narcissist and their spouse, the vulnerability comes into like a reality. It's actually a danger or a threat because narcissistic people can be very dangerous. And so, the divorce rate's actually higher because of a safety factor. Now, that's not just physical safety, but that's also emotional safety. And of course, when we think about emotional safety, abuse, and neglect.
Right. So we have this overt narcissist in a marriage, seeking praise all the time.
Right.
And I remember what Dr. Dobson said once about dating. He said, dating is not a time to get to know somebody. He said, dating is a time of hiding.
Yes.
And they do this well.
They do.
They hide it well. It's what you get home from the display window ain't what you bought.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And when you get them home. What about having a friend for a narcissist? What would?
Oh gosh. Yeah. The classic example of the narcissistic friend is you walk into the room with them and they're just the happiest person. They're glowing. There's a lot of energy and people are attracted to them. Because they're narcissistic, there is this air of being in control and confident. And so people are attracted to confidence, whether that's in a romantic relationship or this kind of interpersonal relationship. And so immediately people are attracted to the narcissist because they're confident, because they seem to have it together. They seem to know what's going on. Now, again, like we said in our last session, these people are very shallow.
These aren't sessions.
These are sessions. But these narcissists are very shallow and they are really looking for people that they can kind of draw in from the shallow water into their sphere of influence and then hold them there. So it can look very enticing, day 1, day 2, day 3, but by the end of the week, there's nothing that has happened.
Right.
There's no intimacy. He's not talked about, she's not talked about. We are not a group anymore. It's just, that was fun. That one time we did that one thing, and that was the end of that friendship.
Right. And so I would venture to say that they have very few, if any, friends whatsoever, long-term friendships.
Correct.
Because long-term friendships, you find out what the person's like, and they find out what you're like, and you still want to hang out together. That's a good friendship.
It is.
But when they're found out, they drop people.
Right.
Or if they don't praise them anymore, they drop people.
Right.
And move on.
Yeah, and we see that with all of these cluster B personality disorders where they don't make those deep connections. There's no intimacy there. There's no, like you're saying, there's no long-term commitment there. It is very shallow.
Right. Now, what's an overt narcissist like at work?
Depending on the job, like these are really good salesmen. Like if all I have to do as a narcissist is sell that car, they can sell that car. But when the door shuts and they have to supervise somebody, it can look very ugly because it is all about the narcissist. He is the salesman and you're just here. He is the boss and you're just here. You are here for him.
Yeah.
And so at work, outside, at public facing, it looks very put together. Again, shiny eyes and everything. But behind closed doors, you are just a cog in his machine.
Right. It makes me think there was a book that came out a few years ago. I think it was called The Sociopath Next Door. And she talked about Larry the Little League coach and Susie the soccer mom, that in public, Susie made sure the snacks were there, everybody got to practice, everybody got to the games, everybody was taken care of, but behind closed doors, it's a whole different story. Larry, the Little League coach, kids loved him, parents loved him, great coach, but behind closed doors, how they mistreat their family. So, there is that public image that they carry about themselves.
Absolutely.
And work would be a public place.
Very much.
That they would have to keep, clamoring for the spotlight.
Right. And honestly, the more levels there are in that company, the harder it is for the narcissist to hide. If he can't ascend to the highest position in that company really quickly, he's going to struggle being there because he's not on top.
Yeah.
And if he's not on top, he doesn't feel like this is the show for him.
Right.
And so these people are more likely to find businesses or even start business. They're all business owners. Start businesses where they are already at the top from day one.
Yeah. All right, so that's kind of the overt. Then we talked about the covert narcissists, which tend to play, I heard it referred as a dark narcissist, where they tend to play the victim role quite a bit, underappreciated, don't feel like anybody acknowledges the hard work that they do. And I think you said earlier, it's always somebody else's fault.
That's right.
That's there. How is that? What does that marriage look like?
Interestingly, a lot of times the narcissist will welcome a marriage partner, to rescue them. Now, there's no actual rescue to be had, but the person is given that role, the spouse is given that role for that initial, again, 1 day, 2 days, 3 days of the relationship to then flip the script on them and explain to them that you are in fact a source of my hurt too.
Yeah.
So the covert is actually looking for more people that they can use to explain why they feel the way they feel. And we talked about that inferiority complex, if you want to call it that people who are narcissistic feel underneath the grandiose, underneath the gilded roof, there's that feeling of, I'm not good enough. And this covert narcissist exemplifies that in their marriage by finding somebody, using them to get that feeling, that narcissistic feeling, and then holding on to them much longer than the overt narcissist did. Maybe years and years and years of using their spouse to get that feeling of inferiority, superiority.
Would you say that these people ever truly experience true intimacy in a marriage? I'm not talking about sex. I'm talking about the head and the heart stuff.
Right.
Would you say, I would think that it would be very difficult for them because, how vulnerable do I really want to be?
Right.
Again, trying to control the narrative of what you think about me. So
very rarely would they have that level of intimacy we think that belongs with a marriage. With other personality types and traits, they can have intimacy, like this person gets me. And we talked about that earlier, where a person who is codependent would look at this type of relationship and feel fulfilled because they have someone to mirror the narcissist. In this example, the covert narcissist. But most of the time, it's not going to be a fulfilling or a complete marriage where they look back at it and say, I've had a great life.
Right. You know, I've had a friendship in marriage.
Yes.
Yeah, and a lot of people don't say that. Well, and speaking of, what does that look like in a friendship with this person? I mean, to me, easily offended,
right?
Jealousy. You're talking to that person over there.
Right. You're not really my friend because you talk to her.
Right.
Yeah, it's very shallow. These people are going to want their friend to lavish on them praise and gifts and attention. And so if we go to the coffee shop, it can only be you and me. They cannot come. Or if we go out for a day at the park, you can't wave and say hi to other people. You have to act like me. Now, there's also that image bearing, which is like, if we're friends, act like I act, talk like I talk, dress like I dress.
Right.
And we'll see that in narcissists, not just the covert narcissists, where they're expecting the people around them to conform to their image, which is really interesting, but at the same time, you can understand, I feel so insecure down here underneath this, charade, that I demand that you eat the foods I eat, and like the music I like,
and don't stray from that whatsoever.
And do not stray.
And you better not have other friends.
Nope, there better not be anything on your playlist that I don't like.
It's almost cultish.
Very much.
You think about a cult. What does a cult leader do? They isolate you.
That's right.
They isolate you from friends and family. I'm the only one that has the truth.
That's right.
I mean, that's kind of what you're describing here. And I'm not saying you're in a cult if you're in a relationship with this kind of person, but it has the same kind of characteristics of what you're describing here.
It does.
Now, how does the covert narcissist interact at work?
They're actually not a bad employee because they have to keep that narcissism on the down low to maintain their job. But it's still there. Like, I deserved the raise and he didn't give it to me. He's a bad boss.
Do you think they exhibit a lot of passive-aggressive behavior?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. You will see that backbiting, that criticizing of leadership constantly. And not that they want to be the leader, but they like being able to attack the leader.
Right.
Whoever that boss is, supervisor is, the person who makes payroll, it's they're the problem. Look what they've done. Look at my paycheck. They messed up on my timesheet.
Would you say they do a lot of the silent treatment stuff too?
They do. They do, especially with people they're more intimately connected with.
Yeah.
They can push them away. They can give them the cold shoulder and stay safe. And in all of these examples we're talking about, there is hope that the behavior that they're exhibiting, the narcissistic behavior they're exhibiting, creates some type of protection for them, some type of shield for them to keep them safe. And though we would look at these behaviors and go, how? You're pushing people away. In their mind, by controlling all the variables, all the pieces on the chessboard, they're ensuring that they'll be safe. And in fact, they're never safe.
No, it's the belief that they're in control. And none of us are in control.
None of us.
None. All right, so we got a covert, got an overt, and then, the one that we all want to run away from, the malignant narcissist.
Yes.
This is just the cruel one.
That's right.
And so we mentioned before that they can truly be emotionally and physically abusive in a relationship.
Right.
So in marriage, how is that? How does the malignant narcissist act itself out towards their spouse?
Yeah, so we might see that antisocial-like behavior of physical or emotional abuse. These people are more likely to not marry, though, because they can't maintain that relationship long enough to get to the altar. So, yeah, a lot of times these are romantic relationships that die or implode on takeoff, right? It's just like, this is not safe, and a lot of times a young man or young woman can see that in the other person pretty quickly. If not, one of their friends or their parents go, oh, this is a bad guy.
Yeah.
You need to get away from him. However, if they do get to the altar, it will be short-lived.
Or if they're a good codependent, I'm going to fix them.
Or a good codependent will fix
I'm going to
anybody.
change them. Yeah.
That's right. I will save him from himself.
That's
you
right.
might think of missionary dating right here.
Right.
Like, I'm going to save him. Not narcissism, but the codependent.
Yeah, we got to do a show on codependence at some point. So, one of the truths in life, we can't fix anybody.
That's true.
I can fix you a cup of coffee.
That's right.
Fix your breakfast, but that's about it.
That's
So,
right. That's
yeah.
right. It's a will of the heart to want to be different.
So it's going to be, if they get to the altar, like you said, it's going to be probably a short-lived
Yes.
marriage.
Yes.
And I would guess too, maybe with a malignant narcissist, there might be multiple marriages.
Probably.
Down
Probably.
the road, and until they finally learn their lesson, or they realize they find somebody that's just going to put up with their junk.
That may be true too.
Yeah.
Oh my
now,
gosh.
what's it like to have a malignant narcissist as a friend?
Oof. It works well when you are friends with the bully, because he will be your guard dog. He will be your security guy. And that's a lot of times what we see with that narcissistic friendship, where it's almost a codependent thing, where they are glad to be friends with the malignant narcissist because he can keep them safe from the rest of the world.
Right.
But again,
That's
those
a good
relationships are very shallow. There's nothing there other than the narcissist using you while you feel like you're using them. The friendships are varied. Imagine a kid or an adult who has a different friend every year. You go to school and he's got another friend. Usually they're limited to just one friend because it's too much to juggle the entire band, the entire football team, the entire grade. So yeah, the narcissist has usually very few friends, and the malignant one has even fewer friends.
And I would think too, it'd be easier with one person to maintain the facade of the lies that I've told. It's
Right.
much more easy to manage instead of a group of people that are there.
Correct.
So the friendship could be, I would think they would sabotage the friendship many times.
Right.
If you're not praising me, well, I'm gonna mess this relationship up. So you
Go find someone else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. You ever seen a cat with a dead mouse? Just kind of bats that dead
toying
mouse
with
around.
it?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. It's maybe dead, but it's my dead mouse. So
Right.
that's kind of
Right.
my belief too in those friendships also. Now, how does I can't imagine being in a work environment with a malignant. If you knew they were malignant, I'd be watching my back all day long.
Correct. Yeah, but there are jobs where this narcissistic attitude is efficient because it is a cutthroat kind of environment. There are sales positions and things where it's very much a push to make things happen. And if the work environment demands that things happen, narcissists are generally good at making something happen today. Now, is it, the one thing that the boss wanted? Maybe, maybe not. But again, with these guys, they can make something happen. Now, a lot of their job experiences are very short-lived. 9 months, 1 year, 2 years, 3 years. Unless they get in with somebody who will put up with them, it's a hop from job to job, just like it's a hop from friend to friend, and likely from spouse to spouse. But we do live in a culture where we do have a number of jobs that are very much go, go, go. And the narcissists find themselves in those jobs, and they do them very efficiently.
I can almost see a malignant narcissist at work. By the end of the first week of work, they've already viewed themselves as the boss.
Yes.
I've already climbed the ladder in a week.
Yes.
They're telling everybody else what to do and telling what the boss what to do at that point. So
I know better than all of you, and I know how to make this business.
that's right, because I'm smart. Very
Yes.
smart. And then, of course, my favorite narcissist is that communal narcissist. And like I always said about them, they've never met a camera they didn't like.
Right.
Right. And they're fun to be around. But what would it be like to be married to a communal narcissist?
Yeah. It is fun. It is fun.
About 10 minutes.
They know that the camera is rolling, and they know how to put on that presentation. Now, when I say the camera is rolling, it may be their in-laws' eyes, or it may be the neighbor's ears, or it may be the kids' soccer team and their families. But they know, the communal narcissist knows when there's an audience, and they know that now's the time for the show.
Right.
But when you get back to the house, show's off, leave me alone, you did your part, did you get me on camera like I wanted? Give me that. I need to post that to social media right now. And they often use their spouse as the cameraman. I saw a video recently on YouTube where it was a lady filming herself on a cruise ship, and about halfway through the video she mentioned that she was on the cruise with her brother. And of course everybody starts laughing because you hadn't seen him the whole time.
Right.
That means he's the cameraman. And in a communal narcissistic relationship, you're the cameraman.
That's a good point. I like that. Yeah. I remember an old girlfriend of mine, she moved to South Carolina, so I went over to visit her one time and met her family. And there was this woman there that, very nice, but in a 30-minute conversation with her, she did Home Depot commercials. she must have dropped that 15 times in 30 minutes at her Home Depot commercials, Yes. Oh my God, okay, I got it. You're in the Home Depot commercial.
Famous.
I've seen the commercial.
You're famous.
Yeah. Anyway, she was kind of like that, fun to be around, but,
Right.
very much I do this. What about, this is another different question. What about a communal parent? Communal narcissist parent?
Yeah, and they may be, like you're describing, very much concerned with their achievements and where they've been seen. So they will use their children to be seen. And what that looks like is photographs on the wall everywhere of them and their kids, or travel videos online of them and their kids.
Right.
They will use their kids for leverage for that self-aggrandizement. Look how great I am because of...
I always think of that photo on Facebook. It's the 50-year-old mom and her 20-something-year-old daughters, and they all got their head together at the beach, And,
Right.
I go, come on.
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely.
All right, so again, communal in friendships. What?
Yeah. So communal in friendships, we might, and you do see this with a lot of narcissists where their friendships are inappropriate. Like maybe there's a huge age gap or they're interacting with someone else's spouse. But when we think of the communal one, typically they claim to have friends, so many friends, lots and lots of friends. All these people are my friends.
5,000 friends on Facebook.
But in real life, not one of them knows their last name or has ever been to their house.
Right.
You see that shallowness very quickly because they talk about these people, but you never see these people.
Right.
And in marriages, it's the same way where they've got, they have 5,000 Facebook friends, but the spouse doesn't know a single one of them.
Right.
And that's that communal narcissist where you have to see that they know the important people and the popular people, and they have followers. A lot of times we use the word friends because that's how the algorithm's written online, and truthfully, we're just kind of following one another's
Hey,
life.
I got friends there. I don't know who they are.
I graduated with this person. No, wait a minute. I didn't.
I don't know this person.
I don't know this person. Who is this guy? Why is he on my feed? How did he get here?
Right. So, all right. So we got the communal, and like I said, they're fun to be around for about 15, 20 minutes. And as a parent, they would use their kids as a friend.
Yes.
Again, what are they like in the work environment?
Oh gosh, yeah. So yeah, they're not like, these are not the worker people. These are the social people. It's almost a joke. This is the person standing at the water cooler the entire day. Like every time you look around for them, there they are over there, because that adds to their status. Like, I don't do the same menial work you do. And a lot of times I supervise, or I have something to tell the boss, or I'm important. Now, the communal nature of it makes them a lot of times the morale officer. Like they'll get involved with organizing the whatever kind of party, as long as you understand that they were the one that organized that Christmas party or that holiday party.
And it would almost come across to me with a communal, I think that they come across as a team player, but they want the recognition.
Sure.
Individually.
Right.
So they give that facade, I'm a team player, but you better recognize the good deed that I did.
That's right.
Along the way.
That's right. Yeah.
All right, what about our somatic narcissists? Remember, these are the ones that are obsessed with appearance, how they look, their body,
Yes.
their physique, and really just almost, who was the girl married to Brad Pitt? Was it
Jennifer Aniston?
No.
Or
her second marriage.
oh gosh.
Was it Joe?
Yeah. What was her name? Was it Jolene?
I don't remember, but I remember there was a woman out there that had plastic surgery after plastic surgery to make herself look like her.
Oh yeah. Angelina Jolie.
Angelina, yeah, thank you very much. Sorry about that, folks. I'm sure y'all are up there pulling your hair out going, don't these two guys know anything?
No. But yeah, that is amazing. Again, in our modern age, in the 21st century, people can do things physically to themselves to appear not themselves. And it may be odd to think about that, like somebody wanting to not be themselves, but there is actually a good number of conditions in our diagnostic manual where people change themselves, whether that's by starving themselves or by cosmetic surgery, to not be them. It's almost like they're running away from who they perceive themselves to be.
And as we've said, we're not knocking, cosmetic surgery, but the thing that I found too is you may have this great transition, transformation of your face, your body, but does it change the character of a person? No, it doesn't.
No.
And I can see if I've been in a car wreck or had some damage done and getting the plastic surgery done,
Right.
and getting back confidence.
Sure.
That way. But does it truly, if I'm going out just to enhance my looks, does it change the character at all?
Or try to be someone I'm not, like Angelina Jolie.
Yeah.
I hope I'm saying her name right.
I don't know.
I
Probably
really
not.
do.
Again, somebody's out there pulling their hair out, throwing the food
What
at
does this
the
guy
TV.
know?
These guys are idiots. So we know that already. All right, what's it like to be married to somebody like that?
So one of the things you will see is that cosmetic surgery we've already talked about. So they will expect their spouse to be their cheerleader and help them achieve their goal of the nose, the eyes, the lifts, the whatever, plus be the cameraman that we've already talked about. Because a lot of times with these people, not only is it I want to look differently in the mirror, it's also I want other people to see me. Hence the reason trying to look like a specific person. Because it would be very different to go, I just want a lift or a tuck, than going, I want to look like him or I want to look like her. And so, yeah, their spouse really is there to be their cheerleader, to be their support, to be the one who drives them to the cosmetic surgeon or wherever it is, and then to praise them on their success.
Right.
And so we will see that in a spouse. The relationship's usually pretty stable because the spouse doesn't necessarily disagree with their husband or wife trying to better themselves. So these relationships, these marriages are not as unstable as the rest we've mentioned. They're actually fairly stable. Again, it looks shallow, it's physical, it's about the looks. But again, most husbands don't complain about their wives doing things to look better.
Right. That's very true. You think, I've got an inner George Clooney.
Do you really?
You think there's hope for me?
No.
Okay, so what about having them as a friend?
Oh, it's actually a very similar picture. Now, the narcissist who is concerned with their appearance, the somatic narcissist, will find people who are also very concerned about their appearance. Now, you can't be more attractive than me, but you can be my friend because you're trying to be as attractive as me. So the makeup person, the hairstylist person.
The friend's a student.
Yes.
Really?
The protege, yes. And that is greatly welcomed. It's almost like high school girls, right? The senior girls were always the senior girls. They have to be on top. But if you're a junior, sophomore, or freshman girl, you're welcomed in our group as long as you acknowledge the senior girl. So the same thing with the narcissistic who's worried about his or her appearance. It's like, yeah, you can have a nice suit, but it can't cost more than mine. Or you can have that great hair plug surgery, but just you got to tell people that. You can't just admit you have great hair like I have great hair. And so, yeah, that is very vain, right? We would use the word vain for these people. But their friendships are very shallow. They're very surfacey.
This whole weight loss drug movement that's out there right now.
Yes.
Again, granted, it's a lifesaver for some people's health. It really is. But I think the bottom line for a lot of folks who participate, and again, I'm not knocking it.
Right.
It's all about vanity. It really is.
Oh, yes.
And again, why have we gotten to the place where we are with obesity? And that's another show. But I'm just thinking it still comes back to this kind of belief system that it really always about how I appear to people and how I look to people.
Yes, because that's not who I see in the mirror, but I can create this image so that at least other people see.
Right.
Now, the question is, do you really think that if other people confirmed what they saw in the mirror, that they would accept it? Or would they still say, no, you don't know the real me? It's very fascinating to think about an inner image.
So what are they like at work?
Equally vain. They're the people who overdress for work. They're the people who overtalk for work. They're the people who underwork for work.
Today.
I know, my favorite black tie.
I didn't wear a tie today, so.
Well, you gave me But yeah, they do. They present themselves at work in an unnecessary fashion. More makeup than they need, more hair prep than they need, more clothes than they need, more jewelry than they need. And they expect that recognition at some level. Oh, that's a really nice watch you have on today. They expect that recognition. Now, if they don't get it, and they don't get it, and they don't get it, then they will speak up. These are not shy people.
Yeah.
They're not shy with their appearance. They're not shy with their words. These are not shy people. So they will speak up. They will say something, especially within their little clique, about what all they did today for that recognition or lack thereof. I was watching a documentary on Star Trek years ago, and the characters were all lined up, and the interviewer was asking them about makeup, because to get into that character, all of them required paint. And then the last lady at the end of the row was not getting any attention, and so she spoke up and said, I have to wear a wig every show. And everybody kind of had a chuckle, because all these people are being painted head to toe, plus prosthetics, but she's not getting any recognition because she wears a wig. But that's the nature of that narcissism. Yes, you did all this, but my burden. I had to get up 3 hours early to put on all this makeup and to put on all this hair and to do this and to do this and to do this.
Right.
And they will let you know it.
Yeah, they do. All right. What about our good narcissistic friend, the cerebral one?
Oh, gosh, yes.
In marriage, how is that played out? I mean,
Oh, yeah.
if you got two intellectuals that are married, I can see that. But
Right.
Is it in marriage? I'm always talking down to the person because I'm smarter than you. And
Absolutely. And the topic does not matter. When we see the cerebral person in a marriage, it doesn't matter what the subject matter is. It's, I know better than you. And what you're really listening for in their speech is that, I know better than you. They're saying whatever they're saying, but it really means, I know better than you. The marriage, again, is fairly stable, especially when we see somebody with like a codependent personality trait. Because we're talking about marriage, we're going to see that link. But at the same time, the relationship is often very much domineering. It's definitely one of, you just don't understand. You just need to sit there and be quiet,
Right.
because you don't understand.
So to me, it would come across that intellect is valued more than intimacy.
Every time. But yeah, narcissists don't value intimacy like we think of it anyway, because intimacy would be exposing themselves and we seeing the little hurting boy or girl inside of them. So yeah, in any marriage, it's going to be, I am superior and you should adore me, or you should fear me, or you should just listen
And
to
you
me.
should take my advice because
Yep.
I know what's best.
I know what's best. Yes.
Right.
Yes. And so yeah, marriages can be very dysfunctional, though, again, not that they lead to divorce.
Right. Okay, so in a friendship with a cerebral narcissist, the same kind of thing.
Right.
Find somebody dumber than them so they can talk down to them.
They're always looking for, initially they're looking for somebody that they consider of a status above them, because they want to attach themselves to famous people, to powerful people, to important people. But even those are not really friendships. Those are status symbols. Like I've had my picture made with the president, status symbol. But the actual friends, people they would identify as friends, are always subordinates. They're always people who are below them, or they consider less than them, as if they were an employee for their social sphere. So they're going to follow him or her to the golf course. They're going to follow him or her to the gym, and they're going to follow him like a little lost kitten, because that's what the narcissist wants.
Right.
They're not going to attach themselves to people who are independent, self-motivated, who are just driving forward with their life and saying, hey, you can join me if you like.
Right. Now, in the work environment, though, I can see with an intellectual or cerebral narcissist that if the job required a tremendous amount of intellect, that they would explode in their job. They would do well.
Right.
If they were a neurosurgeon or something, and very bright person, very talented person.
Right.
But yet that same narcissistic belief system can come and destroy all these relationships around them in the work environment.
When you think about the work environment, we often think about people who are really smart, like surgeons or engineers. And yeah, they do tend to find, the narcissistic one tends to find those environments where they can excel without accountability. So it's like, I'm really good at airplane engineering, right? And so I do that, but I'm not going to be accountable to a team leader or a team.
There you go.
But I will produce the end product so that you will praise me for being the best engineer here. And so yeah, they don't do a bad job. Their motives for doing the job are bad. Again, this inordinate praise that leads them to exclude their coworkers. If they're put on a team, they'll quickly dominate the team, and then there will be complaints about how they're dominating them or not getting work done. And then they'll defend themselves by saying, look at all the work we've gotten done in spite of this
The dummies I'm working with.
that I'm having to, this mutiny I'm having to deal with. Oh my gosh,
Yeah.
yes. Yeah.
We're a bunch of crazy people, aren't we?
We are. We are. This big, beautiful brain that's just like, and you're like, oh.
What were Adam and Eve thinking?
What were they thinking?
They messed it all up. All right, and we saved the best for last, and that is the spiritual narcissist.
Yes.
In marriage, I can see this kind of grandiose of letting people know how spiritual I really am, and especially in my marriage. That I am the head of the house. I am the spiritual leader.
That's right.
And wives obey your husbands.
Right. Look at all these books on my shelf.
And all the men's conferences I've been to.
And all the men's conferences I've been to. Yes.
I've always said on my tombstone, the only man that never went to. What was that men's thing movement?
Promise Keepers.
Promise Keepers, yeah. The only man that never went to it. So.
Oh my gosh. This past week I heard of one of these new men's conferences called Rise Up Kings, and I looked over it, and it's legit. It looks like a really good program, but they've added a physical fitness element to it. And it's kind of like, okay, what is, so we're having the Bible study and the prayer time and the confessional time, and then we're going outside and doing PT. It's like, we're trying to add, it's constantly trying to make it bigger. But yeah, if that works, be my guest. They're not bad things, but you're right. If I'm using it as a badge, if I'm going there and then coming back and going, look what I did. Yeah, that's that hypocrisy. That's that Pharisaical attitude that we can have, all of us.
And I'm not knocking Promise Keeper. It was a great movement, so I just never went. So there was a men's movement back in the might have been late 80s, early 90s, called Iron John.
Okay.
And the men would go out into the woods, and they would dig in the dirt, and they'd beat the drums and all this kind of stuff. So that was a big movement about that. It didn't last too long, but it was getting back to the earth and everything.
Oh gosh,
but again, we're kind of getting sad. I didn't take my medicine today, so.
Oh my gosh.
So the spiritual narcissist in marriage is going to have that dominating relationship.
Very
again.
much
They don't
so.
see their spouse as equal with them.
No, not at all. Yeah, and they'll quote scriptures like, "Remember, it was Eve who sinned," to put their spouse into this place, this role. And I say that like it's always a male, and of course it's not always a male, but oftentimes narcissism predominates in the male gender.
Yeah.
It just is. But yeah, the spiritually narcissistic individual will always be looking for that opportunity to put his spouse in her place as subordinate, in the sense of, I know better, like I read the book, or I just know because I'm a man, and it's all very hollow. For a person from the outside to hear it, it sounds like nothing, and you will shake your head and go, what is he talking about, and why is he saying that? But within the marriage, there's a whole bunch of emotional energy behind it, and the spouse may feel very compelled to just nod her head and go along with Iron John or whatever it is out in the woods yelling at the trees.
So what's it like to have a friend like this?
Not fun.
Yeah.
Not fun at all. They are maybe not so quick to pull out the Bible and beat you over the head with it, but it's coming.
Yeah.
It's coming. The coffee is not just an invitation for coffee.
I'm kind of visualizing this person in a Bible study. They're going to dominate.
Yeah, that too. That too.
They're going to have an opinion on everything. So
absolutely.
Yeah, and again, it's a way of avoiding getting people to know you and getting close to you. If I spiritualize everything.
That's right. That's right. And they are quick to say things like, it's all about Jesus, even though you can clearly see them acting like it's all about them. It's all about the Bible study they did this morning before they came to your Bible study, and how much better that Bible study was than your Bible study because they used the new, whatever manual that's out there. And it is very hypocritical because, again, when you ask them about the intimate things, like what did you learn, how is your life better, what part of this changed you, there's nothing. They have nothing to offer other than to change the subject. But it is very vain, again. Yeah.
And so you put this person in a work environment, well, how are they going to act?
Not really that different from most of the other forms of narcissism. It's going to rise to the surface. It's going to predominate. But they will tend to use their spirituality, maybe not religion, but their spirituality within that work environment.
That I'm superior.
Yes, because I don't. drink, I don't smoke, I don't say those words, I don't laugh at that joke. And that makes me superior to you, versus it being that opportunity for us to be a witness and a light to the world, and specifically the work environment we're in.
Amen to that.
It becomes I'm just not like you, and
Yeah.
you are below me. And that helps zero.
Yeah. Okay. Well, we're out of time again. This goes by fast, doesn't it?
It does.
When we're having
It
fun.
does.
And look forward. We'll do a third episode on this. I'm in a relationship. Now what? How do I handle it? How do I handle myself? That kind of stuff. We'll give you some key tips on that. But thank you again for letting us into your home. I hope you enjoyed this.
Yes.
We had a good time, and we'll see you next time. God bless.